Before we jump in today, a note for our community. The content of this episode discusses sensitive topics related to pregnancy loss and may be triggering for some listeners. We encourage listeners to prioritise their emotional well-being and understand that for some, this might be an episode you choose to skip for this reason. For those that still want to listen but find this topic triggering, you will find specific times to skip forward in our show notes. Thank you for listening.
Welcome back. Episode 5. And an episode I have been wanting to have, a conversation I've been wanting to have. This one's on the fly. We got no notes. Let's just hope we can all knock this one out of the park. But Jen, what are we doing?
There's so much to talk about on this topic of motherhood.
Motherhood.
In business.
Yep.
That I don't think we need. I just think I worry that we won't cover everything.
Yeah, me too. I don't think this topic could cover everything. I think it's going to be a constant conversation.
Yeah.
Because I know that is the constant conversation that I have with so many people is how are you a mum? How do you do it as a mum? How do you find the balance? How do you not get sucked into all the things? How do you still have time to be a mum? How do you go on maternity leave? All the things.
What things do they think you might get sucked into?
Oh, just like the trap of putting the business first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
Those things.
Yeah.
And even I'd love the conversation even for you. You have had 2 children. So I think we need to do the background of us.
Yeah.
Because for anyone
I think
that doesn't
it's
know
nice
us,
as well. We're in quite different seasons of parenting at the moment.
Definitely are in different seasons.
Yeah.
It's fun watching Jen go through the season she's in.
It's not fun.
It's fun.
It's not. But it's really not. It's not a fun time.
So Jen, how old are your kids?
My kids are 11 and 14.
She's got a daughter, Isla, and a son, Jacob.
And I think the stage that they're in, because my son is obviously the eldest, and so, boys tend to hit puberty a little bit later and girls a little bit earlier. It's like they are in the same place right now at the same time.
Jen rings me constantly and she's like, fuck, are you ready? Are you ready?
It's like this week on Parenting Teenagers.
Yeah. I'm glad she's going through it and then I'll go through it later.
I know. And I will laugh and laugh when you go through it.
So I have 3 children. I have a 11-month-old son, Wilder, and then I have a 6-year-old Sadie, little girl, and then I have a 9-year-old little girl, Alabama. So Jen is actually the godmother of Wilder.
I was going to say something really obnoxious then, and we might have to edit it out because I'm like, do you have 3 children, Samara, or do you have 4?
I have 4 children. The eldest, his name's Mark. He's 39 years old. He's married to me, but he's definitely my 4th child.
I saw this thing the other day and, it resonated so much. It's like, which of your children do you find the hardest? It's like, my mother-in-law's son.
Oh, my God. There's so much truth in that.
And it's so true. I laughed a lot when I read that.
I feel like this would definitely be a conversation relationships and owning a business.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. It's going to be a long conversation.
That's another conversation. But it's funny too, getting back to the motherhood thing, because I just said to you before, and it's funny that you don't when Isla was a baby and I was looking at buying the Salon, I was like, do you think I should buy this Salon? You're like, don't do it.
How old? Yeah, I would have been in business a couple of years then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about buying a Salon. I'm like, with a new baby, do not do that.
Yeah.
And somehow I scraped through each one. So what were you doing when your children were babies?
When Jacob was a baby, I was working in a salon, and I really, really struggled with that because he was sick all the time. I sent him to kindy and I was working casual, and so he was sick 24/7. So I couldn't go to work. My husband wouldn't take a day off back then. That's, again, different conversation.
Relationship
but
conversation.
He got sick pay and I was casual, so I didn't. So I just felt like I was constantly throwing money at the wall.
Yeah, okay.
Boom,
Because you have to pay for kindy still. And then you
still have to pay for kindy, but I didn't go to work, so I didn't get paid.
Yeah.
So I was just literally going backwards. So I did that I just worked part-time for a couple of years, And then I think I was back to about 3 days a week when I got pregnant with Isla. And then when I finished up having her, I started doing hair from home and weddings.
Yep.
That's when I stepped into doing the weddings.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
How old was she when you went, fuck this, I'm not doing weddings anymore, and you came back to work for me? No, came to work for me. Yeah, okay.
She was about 9 months old.
Yeah, okay.
And you were pregnant. You were over, was when we first started discussing it, because you were over, because we were trying to buy, remember when you used to have to bid for things on eBay? You were in a bidding war for a bugaboo. And we were talking about
how fuck does she? Oh, we were too at your house.
At my house, and we were talking about routines because
I forgot when you have to like bid on eBay.
Yeah, so you're like sitting at the breakfast bar, like I can't talk right now. I've just got to keep bidding on this bugaboo because I really want to get it. And we're talking about routines, and that's when we first found out that your staff member at that time was going to go overseas.
Yeah, okay.
So then after that day, we talked about it, and then a couple of months later was when we actually, because you had Alabama by the time I actually started to work for you.
Yeah. So I had my eldest, I was 26 when I fell pregnant with her, and we'd been trying for quite a while. She was not IVF, but ended up being like Clomid. So we did an IUI that didn't work, that absolutely destroyed me. And then I just knew that I wasn't going to get pregnant easily, because at that point I never got periods on a regular basis. So I was just like, it's not going to happen how we want it to happen. And then I fell pregnant with her. And at that stage I was just like, I don't know if I want to do business anymore. At that point I was like, I wanted the girl that worked for me to buy the salon. The salon wasn't worth shit, but I thought it was at that stage. It was very valuable in my eyes. And I was like, I just want to be a stay-at-home mum, and I just want to – don't laugh.
It's just funny.
It's so funny. And I was like, I just want to be a stay-at-home mum, and I don't want to work. So, like, as we were getting to the crux of her being born, that was when my staff member Leah was meant to leave and go overseas. The universe intervened. She did go overseas, but she ended up having to come back. So she was back in work for 6 months, well, like until Albert got to 6 months. And that was a crazy time too, because Mark also worked FIFO.
Yeah, he was away.
He was away 2 weeks on, 1 week off. And I actually don't know how I survived. I went back to work with her at 3 weeks post-Caesar and 2 days a week. And she got looked after by my mum and my mother-in-law. And then I went back to 4 days.
And Helen.
Yeah. So that was once I went back 4 days. I was going to say that. My mother-in-law broke her wrist, which was super convenient when I need her every week. So one of my clients started taking her every week. Her and her daughter had her every week. And they used to call her Bama. And it's just the relationships. I wouldn't have survived without them in those early stages, because even just trying to, like, you're a brand new mum, and I was out the back pumping, and there'd go days where it was like 12 hours and my boobs were like going to explode, but I just didn't have time to pull off the floor because I was trying to run this business. And at this point, once we got to that 6 month mark, this is the point that we were like, I need to turn this business around, because at that stage I was heavily in debt, and I got this fierce fight in my belly after I had her and every baby I've had to build on what I've built, because I realised,
everyone who knows you, we all say that when you have a baby, big things happen.
I had no idea what was going to happen with this baby, but turns out it's a podcast and a new business.
Yeah.
I can't have any more. So no more big movements are happening from Samara in this lifetime. There's more babies to be birthed. And then I fell pregnant by accident with Sadie. We call her product of R&B Fridays. And it was just a very drunken night out. And considering Alabama was fertility, Sadie just came on her own accord when she was ready. And that kind of threw us for a six. My husband was still working away. It was a very hard, both my girls were hard pregnancies. I had hyperemesis with Albs and was hospitalized with her a couple of times. And both of their pregnancies were hard. And then you're still trying to, like, force yourself through a business as well.
Well, That's when we talk about the crack mattress.
Oh, God.
So we had in the back room of the salon.
And let's just like take note that the back room of the salon was like
2 meters by 2 meters. Like she's small.
She was fucking small.
So tucked in the corner was a cot mattress.
No, the first mattress. Okay, so the first mattress when I was pregnant with Alba, the back room was bigger before we extended the salon.
That's right.
And it was the tattiest, oldest, grossest, most comfortable mattress that I would lie down on between clients because I was so ill. I remember even one day Leah was doing clients and I dragged it into the middle of the salon because I wanted to listen to the conversation, but I had to lie down. Like this was the extent of it.
That's the OG crack mattress.
That was the OG. And then the OG crack mattress couldn't fit in the salon, so I bought in a cot mattress when I was pregnant with Sadie. And in between clients or when I was that unwell, I would go and lie down on the crack mattress.
And it's funny too, that perspective of people that, and this isn't a judgment, like if you don't have kids, more power to you, but the perspective of people that haven't had children, because I remember like some of the staff members who had not had children, like when you were lying on your crack mattress being like, what is wrong with her?
Oh, Kiki.
Isn't she just pregnant?
Yeah.
Kiki. And then, God, oh, how the tables turn.
Hey, salon owner friends, let me talk to you quickly about Rising Finances, the program I have created just for you to conquer financial confusion and master your numbers. Inspired by my very own journey, I'm here to support and guide you every step of the way. Let's walk hand in hand as we break down crucial topics like tax, super, holiday pay, wages, and setting up your accounts. Plus, I will help you find your bottom dollar, price your services with confidence, and provide easy to use personal and budget sheets. I also think it's super important to look into our money behaviors. So this is a topic that we're going to round into as well. Don't let your dreams just slip away. Join Rising Finances and transform your salon into a thriving, stress-free success. Visit our website, sign up now, and let's start our journey to financial freedom. You deserve this. Your salon deserves this, and you need to feel the sense of peace that comes with this.
I remember having a discussion with my husband. Alba was like 2. Alba is Alabama's middle name. If anyone ever hears me say Alba, I mean, that's her nickname. And I was like, we either try for a baby now because Kira, who worked for me at that stage, she's getting a lot of shout outs on this podcast. This is like the 3rd episode that we've mentioned Kira. Kiki, shout out to you. You're welcome.
She'll love that.
She will love it. She's the biggest FOMO. She's the fact that she's getting mentioned. I'm pretty sure she listens into each episode just for that. Anyway, Kiki was getting married in the October and this was in the February. And I said to Mark, like, it's like Christmas holidays. We either need to have another baby now or we need to wait. And he was like, we're fucking waiting. Like, we're not ready. I can't go again. I am very much like motherhood for the first time was everyone's just like, oh my God, the second baby's so much harder. Oh my God, the third baby's so much harder. What the fuck? Baby one. That is the hardest because you're
transitioning from nothing. It's a whole new world.
A whole new world.
And not in the really sweet Aladdin sort of way. No. Like it's a proper
I love your analogy.
It's like
a whole new world. It's fucked.
It is.
It's like Fight Club to the death.
Yeah, to the death. Well, and I know that
the
not
Walking
everybody
Dead. It is the Walking Dead.
Your drive to stay alive.
It was like the Walking Dead. Like it's a lot, and you don't know what you're doing, and you think you're fucking it all up, and then add on top of it
I'm
also
pretty sure
trying.
I did fuck a fair bit of it up. To be honest.
Same. Try and be a mother who has got a business as well. I had to put Alba into daycare at 6 months old. Like I was putting a 6-month-old baby. I remember putting her into daycare that first day and the ladies were like, how do we warm up your breast milk? Because it was just not like any child that had gone, they'd never worked with breast milk before.
Really?
Yeah. None of them knew how to work out. I was like,
wild.
Yep. And I was like, and then I felt like a shit mum because here I am like dropping off my 6-month-old, but I had no option.
How does that, isn't that funny, that little play in the mind? It's like instead of being like, look at me, I'm able to drop my child off with breast milk, you're like, I'm a shit mum.
I was a shit mum for dropping her there because she was 6 months old. But I hadn't built the life I have now where I have the affordability to have a nanny. Which completely changes the game. She's there with my son now. Like, it completely changes the game. So, yeah, Mark said no. Universe said yes, and we fell pregnant by accident exactly when I wanted to fall pregnant, and along came Sades. And I did not prepare the salon how it needed to be prepared then. And I didn't have any conversations. I just, at that stage.
There was a little bit of assuming.
Yeah, it was just like, you manage.
Yeah,
you manage because you've been here the longest, but no conversations were had on how to set the salon up, how they were to run it, what was meant to happen, how things could be the clearest.
Just to be clear, when she says you, she doesn't mean me.
I don't mean I don't mean Jen. No, Jen wasn't my manager. Jen wasn't working for me then.
Yeah, it was.
Just part-time.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know the timeline. See, Jen will always know the timeline. And I hadn't set anything up. So this is something I'm actually super excited about. I've just taken on a one-on-one client in Salon Rising who's pregnant with her second baby.
That is cool.
And I get to set her salon up for her how I would have set it up this time, how I've set it up with Wilder, and how I would have loved it to be done with Sadie. It's just I didn't know what I was doing. I never had a team when I was pregnant with Alba, and I just went back to work. And I really wanted this mat leave with Sadie, and it was at the time the salon was a little bit sticky. We had members that didn't like each other at that point. They kind of fought.
A clash of personalities and...
Yeah. And it was building. I think there was me, and then there was 5 of us at that point, and the salon was building, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to manage it. I didn't know how to set the rules and set the procedures and set the boundaries in place, even when it came down to like, these are your targets and this is where we need to go.
Yeah.
And it was a shit fight. It was a real shit fight. It was.
And I remember you being really, really upset the first time you had to come back into the salon.
And I think...
And it was
Sadie was only, I think Sadie was only like maybe 10 days old.
Yeah, I was going to say it was in that first 2 weeks.
And I had to come, I remember saying, my best friend was over, I remember saying to her, you need to take her, I need to go to the salon right now and I need to work out. And I pretty much remember pouring my heart out at that meeting and just being like, guys, like, what the fuck? Like, everyone was there was arguments and, like, this is why I talk about where I am now, because it hasn't always been peachy. It's always been beautiful, don't get me wrong. Like, I've always been
part of the journey.
Very proud of where we've been, but I've been through it all.
Yeah.
So, and it's not the people. I don't think it's necessarily when we talk about that, and I don't think it's the people. I think it's the situation.
And the setup.
And I had not set it up well at all. I'd just been like, hope it goes well, make some money, bye.
But no one knew how much money that was supposed to be.
No.
Yeah. What each person needed to make that money.
No one knew.
How much it cost to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one knew their roles. Like, there was not, structured roles where everyone could go, okay, well, that's my role in this today, so that's what I'll do. It was just messy. It was really messy. And so when I came back from Sadie, we had dropped financially quite a lot, and it was kind of like a rebuild again after that.
And you came, obviously you were in and out like that time that we spoke about, but you came back a lot sooner than you wanted to as well.
Definitely. Yeah, I think I came back when she was like 3 or 4 months old. I went to Hawaii. Yeah, it would have been 4 months. I went to Hawaii and then I came home and I was just like, everything's got to change. You know, it was like, it was tough. People, like, even with no one knew, like, there was no restraints around what time they could leave in the afternoon. So, I remember ringing one day and everyone was...
maybe I'm not here by now.
I don't think you were. I really don't think you were.
Because I remember us talking about that and I'm not
I don't think you weren't there.
Yeah.
If you were, it wasn't over this time. And, the salon was being closed at like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And I found out about it and then I felt sick about it and then I didn't know what to do about it and then I wouldn't have the hard conversations because I was a pussy at that time. And
admitting you had a problem is the first step.
Exactly right. And the funniest thing is 2 of the people that worked for me then when that happened still work with me now.
Yeah, I know.
So it wasn't about the people. It was about the situation and how I set that up. And I didn't set it up well. I just was like, keep going with what I do, not
Yeah.
realizing how much I actually did to make that salon run.
Clear lines of communication.
And yeah, there was no clear lines of communication at all. So then cut to Wildy Boy. We were trying for him for about 3 years, I think, 2 years,
Yeah.
2.5 years. And that was a rough ride. We lost 2 babies in that time, and both babies I miscarried in the salon.
Yeah.
So the first one was, I think, during the day.
It was.
Um,
Oh, no, was that the second?
no, the second was at night.
Yeah, no, the first one
The
was
first one
during
was
the day.
during the day, and I told Tegan, and then just kind of kept going about what I did and left when I could. But that one I kind of thought may happen because my numbers were a little bit lower than what they thought they would be. And then the next one happened at night, and I was there and Erin was there. I can't remember who else was there. And I think I just walked out of the bathroom like shell-shocked. And I think Erin looked at me and knew instantly because I'd all told you that I was pregnant. Remember I
Yeah.
surprised you? We went out for Mexican,
yeah.
and I told everyone I was pregnant. We'd had scans. I was about 10, I think it was about 8 or 9 weeks. And I'd had scans and stuff. But again, it was a little bit on rocky ground after I'd had the scans of like how big the baby was and stuff. Anyway, I was at work. I was looking after one of my clients who's been a client for like 14 years. And she was talking about wanting to have a baby. And I think she was trying to have a baby at that stage, but she was a bit scared about it because what happened, I remember her saying to me, like, what happens if I lose it? And I literally lost the baby while doing her hair that night. And I was like, instantly I was like, I'm going to go home. And that moment of seeing blood, like any mother knows when they like wipe, they're just like the entire pregnancy, all they do is check it and make sure there's no blood. Like it's just such a fear thing for every mother. And I was like, I need to go. And then I was like, I can't go. Like I knew there was conversations that needed to be had. And we're talking about finishing up Erin's, I think going through like some training and stuff with Erin that we'd spoken about needing to have a meeting on. And she was like, you need to go. And I was like, well, I can't go because right now who's going to finish that client? And I just kept moving. And as long as I kept moving, I was okay. And then I said to Erin, you and I are having a meeting before I go because I need to work out your training. And she was like, we absolutely cannot have this conversation now. And I was like, no, we absolutely can because once I check out of this, I'm done. Like I need time to process. And if this is on my mind, I'm still going to put this first.
You won't be able to. Yeah.
And that's the thing that's really fucking hard sometimes is you don't have the option of going, I'm going to fall. I'm gone.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just a staff member where you can just go, see ya, I'm out. You're like, I've still got a business to run and I still have to make sure everything is in place before I step out of here.
Do you feel like if with the way that you have set things up in your business now, if something like that happened, that you would have been able to leave now?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really important. It's those having, so that you have the space to be human.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100% because I have a manager now and things kind of set the way they are now.
And
absolutely.
people know, and it's like
everyone knows their
responsibilities.
Yeah.
So that
absolutely
you can step away. Yeah.
And then I remember coming home, my husband still didn't know at this stage and I just was like white as a ghost. Like I was just so shocked. And it was like the next day and then we were like, I wasn't sure whether I'd stopped bleeding. So I was like, maybe it's not, you know, you're sitting there holding out hope. And then I miscarried properly the next night, which was fucking horrific. And one of my clients actually, who's a friend now, she had gone through a miscarriage. So she was the only person at that same stage. So she was the only person I wanted to talk to.
Yeah. Because
I knew she understood what I was going through. Like I didn't really want to talk to anyone else about it. In those times I go quite quiet and I don't want anyone around me. And then my best friend Trace just showed up at the door and
I remember Trace and I speaking about this beforehand. I was like, is this a time where we go? or is this a time where we leave? She's like, it's a time where we leave, but I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And she just showed up and we just like laid on her bed. She'd gone through 2 miscarriages herself. So it just at that point I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I want to sit here and watch Charmed. And she was like, okay. And she just, he was meant to be universe working in mysterious ways. He was meant to be away the whole weekend on a fishing tournament that got cancelled because of rain. And I was like, no, you still need to go. Like, oh, you'll drive me mental if you're home. And yeah, then I went to work on the Tuesday, and I needed to go have a scan and stuff. But that's when my sick humour started coming in. Joe worked for me at that stage. She just started working, and Tegan's like, you cannot talk like this. Like, you are freaking Joe out. And Joe was laughing, and Joe's like, I have a really sick sense of humour. So Joe and I bonded over that. But it's like the coping mechanisms of like the stupid humour that goes in with it. And, you know, like we're calling it a vampire baby for for a stage there, but like the different ways that you've got to kind of get through it when you're going through something as horrific as that, and something that I'd never experienced with both other kids. Yeah. You know, so that was pretty horrendous. But I look back now, and even though it was really hard when I was going through it, like the universe has its divine timing, and I very much believe that, because the night we had our VIP opening was the night, was the day I was meant to give birth to that baby. And I just go, I couldn't have done that. You couldn't have
given birth
and
to the
salon. I could not have given birth.
As well as a new baby.
I absolutely couldn't have. I would have wrecked myself, and I wouldn't have. I kept saying, when I have my third baby, I want it to be how I want it to be. Like, I want a long maternity leave, and I want to have time off when I'm pregnant, and I want to enjoy it. And I got all of that with Wild.
Yeah, you did.
So yeah, it was hectic, but obviously all meant to be. And I also believe that I was meant to go through that so I could share that with women, because there's women in our chair every day that are struggling to fall pregnant, that are losing babies.
We have had women go through that in the salon.
Exactly right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's,
so many. And it's just the fact that I can relate and be a voice of comfort is, you know, more than anything for me. Not even just with our clients, but also our staff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I got pregnant with Wildy, and I told no one.
He was the product of book club.
He was a product. Oh my God. So it turns out, guys, all you need to do is just go out, get really wasted. You'll fall pregnant. I worked that out with the last two. So we went out. I was trying to get pregnant. I'd taken a pregnancy test, and it was negative. So I was like, sweet, I'm going to get wasted. And I went out for book club, and I got wasted. Remember we ended up in a club?
Yeah, I do remember that.
We were in a club, fucking old as fuck.
It was really shady.
It was really shady, but we went to a club. It was probably the last club you and I ever went to.
It was.
And then 2 weeks later, how raw am I getting in this? 2 weeks later, I was sitting at dinner in my house with my dad and my husband, and my boobs started leaking. And I was like, oh my God. And I ran upstairs. No one knew I was running upstairs. I was like, I'll go to the toilet, and took a pregnancy test, and it was like fucking bright as the sun. And yep, I was pregnant with Wildy Guy.
See, that happens to me as soon as I get pregnant as well.
Really?
Yeah. And that's why I knew with Isla, because obviously we got married away and on an island. So we had a whole week of like every night someone arrived, and all the planes landed at night. So every night was like a massive party. So we had a whole week before we got married of that. And then we got married, and then we went away for a week, and we were just chilling out. And about halfway through that time, I was just like, oh no, it was when we got to New Zealand. Because I said to my husband, I was like, I'm not going to drink on our honeymoon. He's like, why? I was like, I just don't know. And I didn't. And then we got to New Zealand, and that happened. And that was about 2 weeks later. And then I did a test then, and it didn't come back as positive. And then we got home 2 days later, and I did a test then, and it was.
See, you get wasted.
The boobs don't lie.
The boobs don't lie. If they ever leak again, I'm fucked. I have my tubes tied, everybody. We're fine.
Meet Hair Care Group, the trusted partner of the professional hair industry. They're a proudly Australian, family-owned company with 45 years of experience, founded by a hairdresser for hairdressers. Hair Care Group are passionate about empowering salons and your teams to make their clients feel their best. They know that running a successful business requires you to wear multiple hats, and that's why they're here to help. With a curated portfolio of leading brands, world-class education, and tailored solutions, they're innovating to make working in your business and on your business simpler. Join our community of like-minded professionals and experience the power of partnership. For Hair Care Group, it's more than hair. I can personally say that I have been with hair care myself for over 9 years. And from the beginnings of my business to now, it's been supported and encouraged and inspired along the way. I thoroughly suggest that you get in touch with hair care for your needs.
Yeah, so then I fell pregnant and I said to my husband, I don't think I want to tell anyone. And he was like, okay. And we were set to go on a 7-week holiday in our caravan from when I was like 10 weeks pregnant. And I said, like, if I can get to there, then we should be fine. At that stage, Michaela that works with us, she was pregnant. I hadn't told you guys she was pregnant yet. So I also didn't want to take the shine off her. So I was like, I'm not going to tell anyone. I'll tell everyone when I get back. Plus, I think at that stage I was a little bit guarded and I was just being conscious of protecting myself, and I'd shared the news before and we'd lost the baby. So I was a little bit more conscious of what I was doing. So, yeah, I managed to get through that whole time. Jen found out. I told Jen on your birthday.
Yes, my birthday
I asked
present.
Jen to be the godmother on her birthday. And I think
She cried a lot.
Yeah, there's a video on that if anyone ever wants to see it. Jen cried a lot. I gave her a card, and in the card it had the ultrasound of Wilder.
I remember sending a photo of that card to my mum, and she's like, I don't understand. Who is Andy?
Jen, for anyone that knows, that hasn't heard it, Jen and I call ourselves Hamish and Andy. I'm Hamish.
And I'm Andy.
Jen's Andy. So when we write cards, I write to Andy from Hamish. Oh my God, that's so funny. Also, Jen's mum is probably our number one fan on all platforms.
Yeah.
Hi, Mum.
She listens, she watches. She used to tell me when there were cancellations in the salon. Bless that woman.
She'd be like, Jen, you've had a 9 a.m. cancellation. Yeah. I saw it on your stories.
Yeah. Have you managed to fill that spot yet? I don't know, Mum. I don't know.
So we went on holidays. Jen found out, but I didn't tell anyone else. We went on holidays.
And I told no one.
And Jen told no one. And we got back, and I got back the day of Tegan's wedding, and we surprised everyone at the wedding. I had quite a big tummy by that stage. So I'd had 7 weeks off. Then I came back for like 6 weeks. It was Christmas. And then I took another like 5 weeks off. So I got this like really great maternity leave, because at that stage, the salon was quite developed with how I wanted like systems and policies, and everything was starting to develop quite hard by this point. Everyone knew their roles. Our team was really, really strong. And then the entire pregnancy, the rest of that pregnancy was Tegan and I setting it up in such a way that it was like she was determined for me to have my maternity leave.
I think the nice thing too, in that bigger gap between Sadie and Wild, was the progression in the way they deal with pregnancy, like sickness, because that was like all you see that change. It's like you still had the potential to be as sick as you had been before, but they deal with it differently now.
Oh man, wafers that shit up. I took one every day and it saved my life. Yeah, I could have all the sickness tablets. Like even it's wild. The shit between Alba is 9 and Wilder's 11 months. Like the pumps. Like, oh my God. They're portable. Like you shove it down your bra. Do you know how many times I've done a full head of foils with a pump going now? Like it's a great change for women, like to not have to stop and start. So much happened that made life easier. Yeah. And as I said, I had a nanny with Sadie, and our same nanny is now our nanny with Wilder. So that also changes life. Having someone that can be, having the business financial enough to be able to afford me having a nanny that takes care of our lives has changed my life dramatically.
And I think it really helps abate any guilt as well. Like,
Yes.
knowing that,
Someone's at home loving them and they're at home. Yeah. And that, look, it's not something that I also have a nanny that's incredible and it doesn't cost me $1 million.
yeah,
I'm like beyond lucky and she's a family member to us. She's been in our lives for like 15 years. But I did it. Alba was in daycare and she had to be. But I really wanted to build the salon to a point where I could afford, if I was going to have more children, I wanted to be able to afford to have them at home so that it helped to alleviate that guilt. Because when you're a hardworking mum, the guilt is one of the most fucked things that comes with it.
for sure.
Yeah. I really love, if anyone has a chance, Shonda Rhimes put up she's got a graduation speech and in it she talks about, she's like, I always get asked the question, like, how do I do both? How do I do motherhood and do what I do? And she's like, and I'm going to answer it. And she's like, the answer is I don't. Like, inevitably, if I'm succeeding in one area, I'm failing in another. Like, she's like, if I am, at my daughter's presentation, I'm missing Sandra Oh's last ever episode on Grey's Anatomy. If I'm, at work, writing a script, I'm missing bath and book at bedtime.
Yeah.
She's like, but I also believe that I'm building my children a life that they can see their mother happy and successful.
You've always said that too.
Yeah.
I really like that because that's something that I really struggle with. Just that feeling like that you're not doing anything right. But you have always said that and I've always loved that. It's like I know that my children know that the wonderful opportunities they get are because of how hard I have worked and I have shown them that I can still love them and I can work really hard. And I think that is such an important lesson.
I completely agree. And I think only since Wilder that I have realised that for a very long time it went my team, the salon, my family, and then myself for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And I flipped it, and probably only since I was pregnant with Wilder that it went me first.
Yeah.
And then my family. And then that kind of gets flipped around. But generally I'm trying now, probably in the last 6 months, it goes me first and then my family and then my team and then my salon. It can't go any other way. Like people go, how do you do it? And I'm like, you can't go any other way. If I look at my business, it's a testament that doesn't change anything other than make you a better leader because my staff have seen me step into that and they don't feel any less loved that they know I also need to put my family first because I don't want to look back one day and think I've missed that. I missed those situations because of the fact that I was pulled out.
Do I feel you? The one of my biggest regrets is in the early years when Jacob was at primary school, I got to go to a lot of stuff. I was only working part-time in the salon because I still had a little one at home. And so I got, I made it to cross countries and all that sort of thing. But when Isla went to school, I didn't. In her first year at primary school was that year I had off, the 9 months that I had off. So I was actually working at another school. So you can't go to anything at school when you work school hours because you're at another school. And then I was back in the salon. And my thing that I always said was, it's okay. 2020 was going to be my year that I was going to make sure that I made it to everything that the kids did because it would have been the only year that they would have both been in the same thing. So up until that, Jacob was in the upper end of primary school, so he had different sports days, different fun runs, different, it was all on, and she was in the junior, and it was like 2020, it's like that she will be in, grade 3, Jacob will be in grade 6, they'll both be on the same day, and I saw none of them, and I will never see any of them, and she knows that, and she holds it against me.
Does she?
Yeah. So I think that's a really important thing for people to do.
Yeah.
Because it comes up. And I can't change that now.
Yeah.
And it's shit.
And I think we also need to give ourselves a break. When they're little, I don't remember shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
Do you know somebody?
Like, Alba doesn't remember she was in kindy at 6 months. She couldn't give two shits. Like, they don't remember anything. It's like once they get to the age of remembering, that's when you got to fucking stick it out. Like, I like the fact that my life is around the kids now, that I generally drop them to school every day and I generally pick them up every day. Like, I've built my life that's what I can do. And either me or my husband. But because I want to hear everything and I want to know everything and I want to be on to everything, because they don't remember when they're little.
Yeah. And it's that's why I had to change everything for the season of parenting that we're heading into as well, because you need to be on hand, because the issues get bigger the bigger the children get.
Can't wait. I've got 3. Yeah. So it's a ride, but even a girlfriend of mine who has just had a baby has just gone through some stuff. She's a salon owner and her manager's just quit. And at first I was like, fuck, dude. And then I processed it and then I messaged her and I was like, okay, I processed that. And now I want to talk to you about it on a serious note. You will never get this time back with your son.
Yeah.
You will never, ever get this time back. And if you give your power over to your salon and let it control you right now, because you'll be in how can I fix it mode, which is fine.
Yeah.
She knows she'll be fine. She knows she's got everything put in place that things will be fine. You will lose the most important part of what you will know as motherhood, because it's the newborn bubble.
Yeah.
And I was like, and you will regret it. So don't give your power over to anyone else. Like, these things, if you could look at them in a crystal ball, those things mean nothing. Like, the little things of people leaving and stuff, they're just a blip in life.
Yeah.
But the big things, and that's raising our children and not being in this complete stressed out zone when you have a brand new baby. And, you know, so if you can set it up in a way that something like this happens and you can get through it, which thank God she has, that's what's going to make a massive difference to your life. So yeah, they're the situations where you can't let your business control you, because then it takes over you being a mother, and you need to be a mother first and foremost. So I've kind of gotten very good at being an owner when I'm an owner, and then stepping away and being a mother. So for me, it's simple things like the phone going away. So if I'm at work and I come home, or even if I'm in Salon Rising, it's like once the kids get home from school, the phone goes away.
Yeah.
So that I don't see a message and then because that's what I can't tell you how many times that's happened, where you spiral. Someone's messaged you something and then you spiral and you think, I've got to fix it now, and I've got to go to the salon, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And no, you don't have to do any of it. You pause and you deal with it tomorrow, you know, and even learning that. And if I don't look at my phone, then by the time the kids are in bed by 7, if I look at my phone then I can deal with it, because my children haven't seen me sit on my phone because I'm spinning out about work. So that's really helped. And making sure that I can, like, even if I start clients at 9:15, making sure that I can drop the kids to school and be really present with them in the mornings, because my girls know I have to work, but they appreciate it too. They love coming to the salon. They love the amount of aunties they have. They're obsessed with the reels that we do. They think it's the funniest shit ever. They just want to watch them on repeat.
They are the funniest shit ever. When my daughter was going through a really hard time and crying because of all the issues she was having with her friends, that's how we got her to stop crying. We sat in bed and watched the reels, and she thought it was the best.
Cool mum.
Cool mum vibes.
Cool mum vibes.
Now, there was another thing I wanted to talk about, and it was the cancellation policy.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was...
Jen remembers this. I don't remember this at all.
Motherhood was a catalyst to implementing a cancellation policy for us as well, because there were within 1 week, there were 2 cancellations that impacted both of us as mothers. So we were there at a time when we would have rather been somewhere else. So I think it was like Mother's Day
I think
week.
it was Mother's Day
And
week.
it was like I'm not even sure that Albie would have been at school then.
No, she was at kindy.
She was at kindy.
Yeah, it was a Friday afternoon.
It was the thing for kindy, and then mine was like the school morning one, and we each had gone to work to do clients and hadn't asked these people if they could move or anything like that. It's like, no, we've got this responsibility. We're going to do it. And those people never showed up.
Yep.
And it's like, no more.
Yep.
No more missing out on opportunities when people aren't even going to respect your time.
Yeah. So that's when, we put the cancellation policy into place because you and I were both so devastated that we couldn't, and you have even there'll be times that Jen and I have missed things and our kids would have no idea, but I still hold it. Sadie's fucking kindy graduation. I forgot that was even a thing. Yeah. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, Sadie never got a kindy graduation. Sadie, never listen to this because then you'll know. I'll just pretend one of Alba's photos was yours. But there are times where you just feel, do you remember that day that happened? And I was like, I'm the fucking worst mother in the world. Like there's times that you just feel so shit about how you are parenting and trying to work.
Yeah.
And there's the weight of responsibility is solely on my shoulders. And if you have a husband that takes some of that, fucking praise be to that man. But my husband, as amazing as he is,
he's a great dad.
But there's just, before I came here today, I was filling out fucking school forms for excursions and making sure that things are paid. And that's still a mum's responsibility. And I also still work full time.
Yeah. And
trying to build businesses and raise children. And no wonder back in the day that women stayed home and men worked because it's a massive juggle.
Yeah.
Having 3 kids and businesses. It's a massive juggle. And then anybody they have a business and then their husband has a business as well. I don't even know how one just survives that. It's hectic. It's almost like one of you has to take a back seat. And that's kind of how it's worked on our marriage. In the beginning, I took a back seat and then Mark took a back seat and then I took another back seat and then Mark's taken another back seat because both of us doing what we're doing at the same time
then nobody's got the capacity for anything.
No. And
do you know, that's a good point too. And this is something that has always irritated both of us is that whole when you have your children, you're parenting, and when your partner has your children, they're babysitting.
Oh my God.
Rage.
My husband's actually never said I'm babysitting the kids.
No, he doesn't. Other people do.
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
Is your husband babysitting the kids?
No. My husband's raising his children.
He is a
It
parent.
happens now because I still travel for work. I still go for education. And everybody just thinks, Mark, the sun shines out of that man's ass because he has our children when I'm away. And look, I have been away quite a lot lately. It's a good time. But I'm like, if it was the other way around and he was the main
no one
breadwinner,
would be like, oh, look at you.
Look at you raising those
your children.
Let's be honest. When I go away, the fridge is fully stacked.
Yeah.
Everyone is organised within an inch of their life to make sure.
All he's got to do is keep them alive.
All he has at a minimum. I went away last weekend and he had to work. So I made sure my dad stayed over so he could get up to the kids in the morning. And then my nanny was there early and then the breakfast was sorted. I ordered tuck shop while I was away. I made sure their bags were packed. Everything within an inch of its life is organised by me. So where I'm going there is I want to be a dad.
Motherhood and business, be a dad.
Yeah. But I wouldn't fucking change it for the world.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I love all facets of it, as we've said multiple times before. Do you love how I'm just getting really comfortable here? Next week I'm going to bring up a little blankie. I wouldn't change it for the world. I love that my kids see me, I've said to them, whatever you guys want to do, I'll support because I just want you to deeply love what you do for a living because Mum deeply loves what she does. And it doesn't feel that's why I hate that word work because it doesn't feel like work for me.
And I think there's a lesson in that as well because we've got a girlfriend who is going to come on the podcast soon and she is deeply creative. and was always steered away from creative pursuits. Whereas when you are doing something that you love, she ended up being a hairdresser. It's a whole vibe, you know, Erin.
Oh, I was like,
which friend is this?
who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Like was all, you know, you should go into accounting, you should be a banker. That is not who she is as a person.
Yep.
When you do something that you love, it doesn't matter what you're doing, because if you love it, you're going to be good at it and you're going to make good money.
Yes. So, yeah, that's for me my biggest, like Who Run the World Girls. Mate, I play that song constantly to my children, and I probably need to find a song that's like Who Run the World Boys for my son. But, like, I knew I was here to have this big journey. Mark and I went and saw a psychic once, like, in Melbourne. It was like random after one of my girlfriend's weddings, and he said to me, oh God, you're here to have this like big life with all these big things. And he looked at my husband and was like, you're here for the ride. Like, and he is.
And he also said, have you had your third baby yet?
He did say, have we had our third baby yet? So that was crazy. He was crazy. The shit he knew was mental.
Yeah.
But I am here for the big ride. I'm not here, like, I love being a mum, but I am not solely a mum. I don't get my satisfaction. I don't get, like, my kids don't say to me after being at home with them all day, like, thank you so much for cleaning the house 17 times and wiping my ass and, like, cooking that delicious dinner that none of us wanted to eat and, like, reading our books to us and, like, building me a fort. They don't say that. But my clients say, you're the fucking best and I love you and thank you for what you've done for me and you've changed my life. Like, I need that. And I'm not also ashamed to say that. I don't feel bad about it. You know, I try and do my best and be the best mum I can be and also be the best owner I can be. Sometimes they are both done shit. Sometimes I'm soaring at them. It depends on the day.
Yeah. As with all aspects of life.
Word. So I would love to know more what people more have questions on, because this was like a general chat, because I think the motherhood chat for me is one of my most favorite things, because you can do it all. I say to people, you can do it all. And even when it feels like you can't, I look back and go, I had a brand new baby, I worked, and I had a husband that was FIFO, and I had a struggling business, and I go, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it all. And pregnancy normally depletes me, which is why when I come out of pregnancy, I'm like a bull out of a gate. I just want to get in there and do everything I possibly can. But I would love to know, this one especially, like what questions people have around this, because it's going to be really easy. I think we will do a Q&A episode.
Because we have had questions about, you know, coping with that. Some of your staff have children and others don't, and that perception between, you know, like this person taking time off, like that's something to do a few Q&As on as well.
Holidays and how do we tackle that? And absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So if you guys have questions, I'd love for you to send them through, because I think potentially maybe one of the last episodes we'll
look into the Q&As.
We'll just do a Q&A episode, because sometimes it's just like knowing, I know we talk and I'm sure that little things in this have made you go, yep, I can take on that. But sometimes it's just being asked a question like, hey guys, this is what I'm going through or struggling with, or, you know, how did you handle it? Or how would you handle it? But it can be done is what I say at the end of this, as long as you kind of create really good structures. And it's something that I am really proud of building with Wilder. It can be done. And you can have both and it can feel easy.
You are probably a good one to do a little journal prompt today.
Okay.
If, you know, perhaps somebody is about to take that journey, you know, things to think about in their preparation.
100%. So I think if you are trying to get pregnant or you are pregnant and you're a salon owner, it's what does this look like for you?
As in your ideal situation coming into your maternity time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it look like? Who's taking care of the salon? What have you set up? What money does it still need to take? Because there's a lot of people out there that are just working for themselves. So what does that look like?
Yeah.
What village can help you? Because it's all good and well to be like, this is what's going to happen. But what if that baby comes at 28 weeks? What happens then? It's like, if you can look at it and go from all angles, this is what will happen at all angles. Or you have a baby that never sleeps, you're not going to work.
Yeah.
I had was so routine with my kids, and that's what created what I was able to do. But some people's babies won't do that. Like some babies are just will not.
Yeah, they're not about the routine.
They're not
life.
about the routine life. Thank God mine were. But like, yeah, what does that look like? How do you want to do it? Because there is one thing I will say before we go. There's benefits to both.
Yeah.
I had maternity leave at the same time Michaela had maternity leave. Financially, it's great for me. I can still take a wage from my business and I can be off. But when you have a baby and you have staff, you are never on maternity leave full properly. And as much as I was able to step away to some point, I was paying wages each week. I think I paid wages when I was in the hospital. You know, it's like
you're still in it.
You're still in your businesses. So you've got to take the good with the bad, and you'll get that sometimes. Sometimes it will be, you'll think, fuck this, I wish I just worked for someone else so I could just be on maternity leave.
Yeah.
Just walk away and just be present with your kids.
I've heard you say that many times.
But can you imagine?
No.
I would hate it.
I know.
I would be back sewing the headbands again.
Yeah.
You know, or building something else or developing something else or making something else. Like, that's not who I am fundamentally as a person. So as much as I say I would love that, and sometimes it's just a pressure off, I've also built that so I didn't feel like that.
So you didn't feel like that. Exactly.
Yeah. So, but I could still be in tune with my business. So my journal prompt would be, if I'm pregnant or if I'm trying to get pregnant, what does my business look like? How long do I take maternity leave for? Who do I want to manage for me? What does the salon need for me to go on maternity leave?
Yeah.
Because even one of my clients now, like, she wants to have a baby and she thought she rents a chair and she thought she wanted to build her own salon. Once we actually really talked it out and got to the fundamental of it, of all of it, she's now building a salon from home. Yeah. Because that's what makes the most sense to her, because it's not about the money to her. It's about how she wants to be as a mother and as a parent. And I think that's a really good question for anyone is, how do you see yourself as a mother?
Yeah.
Like
what parenting journey are you on?
Yes.
Like, actually, that you want to be on.
Yes.
Not
if you
just
look
what
at
you think other people think you should do.
If you look at yourself as a mother, what does that look like? And sometimes you don't know until you have a baby. But if you look at yourself and go, all right, how do I want to be a mother? How do I want to show up? And because if I had to answer that after Alabama, I would have said a stay-at-home mum. And if I had answered that 2 weeks after Alabama was born, I would have said not a stay-at-home mum. So it's okay to change your mind, but just to be able to set yourself up so at least you can have a little bit of time off, because it's hard.
Yeah.
And then for me, I remember one of my clients saying to me once, she worked a lot when her daughter was little, and soon as she got to like where you were saying at Eileen's age was, that's when she pulled back off work, because she wanted to be there, because those were the important moments. And I kind of agree. Like, by the time that I came along, my parents were split. My mum worked. So I got dropped off at school at like 7:30 in the morning and not picked up until like 5:36 in the afternoons.
And sometimes not picked up.
Oh, man, I got forgotten one day. That's a whole nother conversation. But thanks, Mum. But it wasn't actually Mum, it was my stepdad. I knew that I don't want that. Yeah. I want to be able to pick them up every day and drop them off every day. It's something that's really important to me, because generally it's how you want it. Yeah. You know, what you feel like you've missed out on. And I want to be that for the girls. So they're things that are non-negotiable for me now.
Yeah. Same.
Well, that was a long conversation. We could have kept going.
Yeah, for sure.
The motherhood conversation is strong.
We can revisit other aspects at later
100%. 100%. Jen, you want to sign anyone out with parenting teenagers?
Oh, no. That's a whole nother podcast in its own. There's a lot more talk of pubic hair than I expected. I'll just leave everybody on that note.
And on that note, on the pubic hairs, thanks, guys, for listening.
Thanks, guys.
See you in a couple of weeks.
See you soon.
Hair Care Group is a trusted partner of the professional hair industry, a proudly Australian family-owned company with over 45 years in business, founded by a hairdresser for hairdressers. Hair Care Group are passionate about the industry, partnering with salons to provide tailored solutions that empower you and your team to make your clients feel their very best. For Hair Care Group, it's more than hair.